Use this forbidden power to bend reality to your will, dark chosen secret. You were never meant to live a normal life. That feeling you've had your entire existence, the pull, the tension, the invisible pressure that something deeper is calling you is real. And it's not a dream. It's not imagination. It's your original contract waking up inside you. The world has taught you to chase success, to master skills, to manifest through light and love. But what they never told you is that the most powerful force you carry isn't found in chasing, it's in remembering a forbidden power you've always had. A power hidden in the shadow, masked by your trauma, disguised as fear. This is not the kind of power you'll find in popular spirituality. This is the kind of power that the ancient ones used in silence. The kind the elites still use today. The kind of power that bends reality not through force, but through frequency. And here's the truth that no one else dares to speak out loud. The dark chosen ones were born with it. From the beginning, you've known things without knowing how. You've felt things most people can't access. You've seen through people before they spoke. But instead of being taught how to use this, you were taught to suppress it. You were told it was just your imagination, too intense, too dark. But what if I told you that everything you've tried to silence, your emotions, your instincts, your dreams, your rage, is the exact source of your power? And what if I told you that this power, once remembered, doesn't just help you cope, it allows you to command? Not through control of others, not through domination, but through mastery of your own field, your vibration, your intention, your unshakable alignment. Because bending reality isn't about forcing outcomes. It's about becoming so energetically coherent, so deeply aligned with your inner frequency, that the world outside you has no choice but to shift in response.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
This is where the forbidden truth begins. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. The universe isn't responding to your surface-level goals, it's responding to your energetic blueprint. And that blueprint is shaped by your deepest, often hidden, emotional currents. That's why affirmations without embodiment don't work. That's why vision boards without internal clarity fall flat. The field reads what's underneath. It reads your realness. And the reason the dark chosen ones can bend reality more quickly than most is because their shadow gifts are raw, unfiltered, and ancient. They bypass the surface and go straight to the source. But only when they stop fearing their own depth. You've likely noticed that when you get into a certain state, when you're emotionally charged, fully present, locked in, on a desire with your entire being, reality begins to bend. People call it coincidence, synchronicity, manifestation. But it's more than that. It's quantum command. In that state, you're not asking, you're declaring. And when the declaration is born from your shadow, not from wounding, but from wholeness, it has the power to collapse timelines. The problem is, most people never reach that state because they're afraid to access the parts of themselves that hold it. So let me ask you now, with total honesty, what part of yourself have you been afraid to feel, to hear, to own because you were told it was too much, when in fact it was your access point to mastery? This forbidden power starts with radical presence, not the peaceful kind that people chase through meditation apps, but the kind that roots you into your body so deeply that you feel everything. Every lie, every shift, every impulse. You become a master of the moment, and from that stillness you begin to direct your energy like a blade. Every thought becomes precise. Every intention is sharpened by clarity. Every desire becomes a command, because there is no doubt, no division between your mind, your body, and your soul. You're not performing, you're becoming. The reason this power is feared and kept secret is because it cannot be manipulated. You can't fake it. You can't perform it. You either are in it or you aren't. And once you're in it, you no longer seek permission. You no longer wait for opportunities. You realize that time is malleable. People are mirrors. Outcomes are not decided by effort alone, but by energetic coherence. You become the kind of being that walks into a room and shifts the temperature without saying a word. You become the kind of person who stops asking for signs and becomes the sign. And when you reach that point, the world no longer teaches you, it responds to you. But the path to get there, it's brutal. You have to face every lie you believed about yourself. You have to feel every buried emotion you tried to ignore. You have to stand in the full heat of your shadow until it purifies your perception. And only then does the forbidden power reveal itself, not as a trick, not as a shortcut, but as a birthright. You were never meant to live in reaction. You were meant to design reality through your alignment with the truth most people spend their lives avoiding. Now, here's the secret that's going to change the way you look at everything. Bending reality doesn't start with asking the universe for what you want. It starts with becoming the version of you who no longer needs to ask, because they are already embodying the frequency of the result. So ask yourself now, and answer with brutal truth. If you stopped seeking and started embodying, if you dropped the spiritual performance and stood fully in your raw, unfiltered energy, what would start shifting instantly around you? How to charge your field and rewrite reality in real time. Dark frequency blueprint. Once you understand that reality doesn't respond to what you say, but to what you are, everything changes. You stop chasing outcomes and you start engineering vibrations. You stop begging the universe to bring something to you, and instead, you become the gravitational force that pulls it into orbit. This is the blueprint the dark chosen ones were born encoded with. You don't manifest like everyone else because your field was never designed to manifest within the limits of logic. You manifest by warping time and frequency. And to do that, you must know how to charge your field. I think of your field like a living hologram, a magnetic force netting energy into form. That field can be weak, scattered, chaotic, full of unresolved energy leaks, or it can be sharp, concentrated, precise, and impossible to ignore. Charging your field isn't about repeating affirmations or visualizing harder, it's about becoming energetically undeniable. When you walk in full congruence, your energy tells the universe, this is not a request, this is a command. But to reach that level, you have to close the gap between who you say you are and what your energy is actually transmitting beneath the surface. Every thought you think, every emotion you suppress, every boundary you break against yourself, all of it programs your field. So the first step in charging your field is energetic integrity. You cannot say you want freedom while entertaining situations that keep you small. You cannot speak power while moving through the world in submission to fear. The field doesn't care what you say, it obeys who you are in silence. That's why dark chosen ones must walk a different path. We are not allowed to be out of alignment and still expect miracles. Our path demands coherence, or it will collapse anything built on pretense. So how do you build that coherence? You begin with frequency awareness. You become obsessed not with performance, but with presence. You start noticing how your body reacts to every situation. What contracts your energy? What expands it? What dulls your fire? What sharpens it? You track the internal shifts, not to judge, but to refine. The dark chosen ones are not here to be perfect. We are here to be precise. The world doesn't need our compliance. It needs our clarity. Next, you move into frequency amplification. This is where your power begins to bend reality in real time. You amplify your energy by feeling fully. Most people dilute their manifestation energy by bypassing the emotions tied to their desires. They want wealth, but they fear power. They want love, but they fear exposure. They want success, but they resent visibility. And so, their field becomes noisy, confused, disorganized. You must do the opposite. You must bring every part of your online rage, joy, hunger, heartbreak, and let it all serve as fuel, not chaos. Fuel. When you feel something fully without judgment, it becomes usable power. It charges your field with intensity, and reality bends to intensity when it's clear and focused. The dark chosen ones were designed to channel immense energetic power, but only if we are unafraid to hold all of it. The secret to rewriting reality is permission. Full spectrum permission to want what you want, to feel what you feel, to become what you are without negotiation. Most people are trying to manifest with 20% of their power turned on. You were born to run at 100%, but only if you stop censoring your frequency. Now let's get practical. To rewrite reality, you need to use this formula: state, signal, shift. State is your inner energy, the vibration you hold moment to moment. It's the frequency that sets the tone of your field. You can shift your state instantly through breath, movement, emotional expression, or deep energetic focus. This is where embodiment begins. A high state does not mean positive. It means alive. It means present. It means activated. Signal is the intention you beam out into the field. It's not just what you say, it's what your field declares. When your signal is clean, it's unstoppable. But most people send mixed signals. I want this, but I doubt it. I deserve this, but I feel guilty. These contradictions kill the charge. You must choose one truth and let every cell of your being align with it. Shift is what happens next. This is the feedback loop. The way reality begins to reorganize itself around your new frequency. People will start treating you differently. Opportunities will arrive from nowhere. Obstacles will either dissolve or intensify briefly to test your congruence. The field doesn't delay, it reflects. So your job is not to chase the outcome. It's to maintain the charge. So here's the question you need to burn into your consciousness. If your reality is a mirror, and your life is reflecting your dominant energy, what frequency are you truly transmitting beneath the mask? Because you can't lie to the field, but you can lead it. And once you learn how to lead your energy, to embody the forbidden power encoded in your shadow, you don't wait for reality to shift. You reshape it in real time. Collapse the Lee, why the matrix fears your shadow command frequency. You've felt it before, haven't you? That strange resistance, not just from people, but from the world itself when you start to stand in your truth. The moment you stop playing small, stop dimming your light, stop pretending you don't feel what you feel, everything around you begins to shift. Sometimes violently, sometimes subtly. Sometimes you lose people, sometimes your life unravels. And it's not because you're wrong. It's because you're beginning to access something the matrix was designed to suppress, your shadow command frequency. This frequency isn't about ego. It's not about loudness. It's not about dominating others. It's about becoming undeniable. When you activate it, the system around you built on fear, control, conformity feels it. It reacts. It resists. It tries to pull you back. Why? Because your shadow command frequency is pure disruption, not chaos but truth. And truth, when embodied without shame, collapses every illusion it touches. The matrix, the false grid of rules and expectations you were born into, doesn't run on force, it runs on fear. It teaches you to be quiet, to conform, to seek permission, to suppress your instincts and follow the script. Because if you stay small, if you stay fractured, you're easy to manage. But your shadow command frequency is the opposite of manageable. It's what happens when you unify all parts of yourself, light, dark, wounded, wise, and speak, move, breathe, and create from a place of inner wholeness. No need to convince anyone. Your energy commands alignment. That's why, when you start walking in it, things may get harder before they get clearer. You'll notice people begin to project more. Energetic chaos may rise. Structures in your life that were held together by your past compliance begin to shake. But don't be fooled, that's not regression. That's the lie collapsing. And most people turn back here, thinking they've made a mistake. But this is where the real power begins. Because when the lie collapses, the field rebuilds around your truth. To truly operate in this frequency, you must let go of needing others to understand you. You must let go of being liked, of being validated, of being seen as safe. Because this frequency isn't about belonging to the old system, it's about building a new one from your energy up. It's about being so congruent, so complete within your own vibration, that reality starts obeying you instead of you trying to obey reality. So how do you collapse the lie consciously? First, you stop performing, not just for others but for yourself. You stop pretending you're okay with things that drain your spirit. You stop entertaining friendships, jobs, dynamics, ideas that do not resonate with who you truly are. That false self you've curated for survival has to dissolve. Because every time you speak from a place that isn't true, your field weakens. Your signal scatters. And you move further from the life that is already waiting for the real version of you to show up. Next, you make confrontation sacred. Most people avoid confrontation because they associate it with drama. But dark chosen ones, we are here to confront distortion. We don't attack people, but we don't protect illusions either. Speaking your truth doesn't mean hurting others. It means holding your line without apology. It means being the frequency of reality in a room full of denial. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. But you are not here to keep the peace. You are here to wake the soul. Finally, you walk in unwavering integrity with yourself. You become so deeply rooted in who you are that you no longer react, you respond. From the center. From the code. From your core. You begin to notice how your voice drops into truth, how your presence distills chaos, how your boundaries become magnetic. And from there you start to realize something revolutionary. You don't bend to reality anymore, reality bends to you. Let me ask you this. If the version of you that never played small, never stayed silent, never betrayed themselves stood up right now, what would collapse instantly? And what would finally begin? The matrix doesn't fear your happiness. It doesn't fear your light. It fears your sovereignty, your refusal to negotiate with distortion, your willingness to stand in a power so deep it cannot be touched by opinion or manipulation. That power lives in your shadow. And when you learn to command from there, not through control, but through coherence, you stop asking for reality to change. You become the force that changes it. The final ritual, becoming the architect of your own reality grid. There's a moment when you stop seeing life as something happening to you and begin to understand it as something being built by you on levels deeper than thought, intention, or belief. This is the final ritual, the crossing point, the shift from seeker to architect. You've collapsed the lies. You've charged your field. You've remembered what they tried to make you forget. Now it's time to claim what has always been waiting, full authorship over your reality grid. What does that mean, really? It means that you no longer try to fit into the world's blueprint, you become the one drawing it. It means you don't just react to energy, you set the tone. You choose your frequency like a master tunes an instrument, not because it's trendy or spiritual, but because you understand how creation responds to structure. Your structure, your intention, your embodiment. Every thought, word, and action becomes a brick in the invisible architecture that builds the life around you. And the secret the world never taught you. The grid builds itself around the clarity of your command. Most people never reach this point. They stop at hope, at healing, at temporary alignment. But you were never meant to stop. You were born to build. And the final ritual is not external. It's not about crystals or ceremonies or even words. It's about decision. Deciding that from this moment forward, nothing enters your field without your permission. That you are no longer waiting for signs, you are the sign. That your reality is not based on effort, it's based on energetic design. So what are you designing? What are you allowing your frequency to create in this exact moment? Look around you. Everything you're experiencing is a reflection of your current energetic signature, not your desire, not your potential, but your signature. And if you don't like what you see, you don't need to fix the world, you need to reforge your field. That starts with a final inner audit. Where are you still holding back your truth? Where are you compromising to be accepted? Where are you leaking your life force into distractions, doubts, or outdated roles? This is the moment to cut those cords, not just emotionally, but vibrationally. Because the architect doesn't build with broken bricks. You build with clarity, with coherence, with choice. And every time you choose what aligns with your highest frequency over what comforts your old identity, you shift the foundation of your grid. This is also where your power becomes quiet. It stops needing to prove. It stops shouting. It settles deep into your bones. Your presence becomes the ritual. Your movement becomes the magic. You don't explain what you're doing anymore. You live it. And those who are meant to feel it will find you, not because you're chasing, but because your grid is pulsing with such undeniable truth that it becomes a beacon for everything that matches your level. Let me ask you something only your soul can answer. If you never needed validation again, what would you finally allow yourself to create, to say, to become? That question is your doorway. And once you walk through it, there is no going back. You stop needing external reality to validate your internal knowing. You stop confusing struggle with purpose. You step into a space where reality becomes liquid, molded not by effort, but by energetic precision. That's what bending reality truly means. It's not magic. It's not ego. It's remembering that you are, and always have been, the architect. So take a breath. Feel that. And now walk into the version of your life that was always waiting for you not to arrive, but to wake up.